So hello everyone, my name is Aaron George and I'm one of ChildLine's outreach officers, and today I'll be reading for you a story entitled Jason and the Yellow Hammer. This story was authored by the Ministry of Labor, so tune in, I hope you enjoy. One day, while on his way to his grandmother's house to do online schooling, Jason saw this big yellow truck, one that he had never seen before. He immediately shouted, "Daddy, Daddy, what kind of truck is that? I want one of those when I grow up." Jason's dad smirked and said, "Jason, that truck is what we call a Hummer, and there aren't many of those down here. They cost a lot of money, but they're pretty cool, huh?" From that day, Jason always had this truck in mind, and even began to pull out all of his old toy trucks, which he would often play with. When his birthday was coming up, he asked his dad to get a truck like the one he saw. His dad had promised that if he did well in his schoolwork and did his chores, he would gift him the truck for his birthday. Determined to get this truck, Jason scored really high in his tests and was eager to show his dad his report, knowing what he had promised him. The same week that Jason's results came out, Jason's dad was not his usual self and seemed very sad. It so happened that the restaurant in which Jason's dad worked had to close because of the COVID-19 virus. So, Jason's dad could not fulfill his promise to buy Jason the truck for his birthday. Soon after, Jason's mom became ill and had to stop working. Things became very tough for the family. Because many places were also closed, it was also hard for Jason's dad to find a job. But there was one golden blessing that Jason's dad relied on. There stood a giant mango tree in their yard, which was full of mangoes ready to be picked. So, Jason's dad decided to sell mangoes outside of the market, but because he needed more money to pay the bills, he took Jason out of school to help him sell the mangoes. He also took Jason with him to work on a piece of land his uncle had owned, picking tomatoes and okra. Jason would get up every morning at 4 a.m. to go to the land and pick fruits, and then head to the market to sell the mangoes and other vegetable crops. Sometimes they would come home 6 p.m. and Jason's hands and feet would be red and swollen from standing and selling all day. But Jason never complained. He felt like he had to help his dad to get money in order to buy food and medication for his ill mom. One day, Jason got really sick and had to be taken to the hospital. When the doctor checked his vitals, Jason was extremely dehydrated and physically exhausted. When the doctor asked what he did all day, Jason's dad started to cry and told him that he had Jason working with him to help out the family. The doctor, who was a part-time volunteer with ChildLine, explained to Jason's father, "Mr. Thomas, Jason was willing to work to help his mommy and daddy, which is part of what you do for the people that you love. But to his detriment, you may not have realized, but at just 8 years old, Jason's little body cannot withstand the long hours of work like an adult. The sweltering heat caused Jason to become severely dehydrated and his limbs to become very weak because of the daily physical activity of work. This is known as child labor. Jason is too young to work. He should be in school, which is one of the most important parts of his life at this age. His education is more important. Even though you think of this as temporary, it may be hard for him to catch up easily in his studies, which can cause him to fall behind tremendously and even quit school if it becomes too much stress mentally. Do you want this for Jason? Overwhelmed with emotions, Jason's dad responded and said, "No, Doc, you are right. I'm sorry, Jason." The doctor said, "At Childline, we provide psychosocial support and referrals for families who are experiencing difficulties, and there are many other institutions which can provide counseling and financial support needed to get you and your family back on your feet, such as the Ministry of Social Development and Family Services. In the meantime, let's get Jason back to good health with rest, plenty of fluids, and of course, back to school." Recognizing from his patient card that Jason's birthday had just passed, the doctor asked, "What would you have liked for your birthday?" Jason looked at his dad and smiled and said, "For my family to be happy again." His dad interjected and said, "I will take care of that, Jason, and I will also get you that yellow Hummer truck to drive one day, I promise." Realizing that Jason was a hard-working and determined child, the doctor contacted Jason's dad 1 week later and presented Jason with the yellow Hummer truck he always dreamed of. The doctor also gave a donation towards the family's expenses. Elated with joy, Jason hugged the doctor and said, "Thank you for fulfilling my dreams, Doc. When I grow up, I want to be a doctor, just like you, and just as hardworking like my dad too." So thank you very much, and I do hope you enjoyed that story.